All right, you guys finished up today. A nice job. We had a little conditioning thing that they did today, and they did a nice job with it. And now they've got some time off, and then they'll be back and ready to hit camp. It looks like the team's in good shape now. It'll be important that they even ramp it up a little bit more for the long haul of the season. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
Is the conditioning test still the same? I mean, I think it was like 15 half gassers before. Has it changed over the years, or?
Yeah, it's a little bit less than that now. Yeah. Not much, but it's a little bit. For you and I, it's a lot. Huh?
Coach, over the past month, you've had the opportunity to take a really good look at Jerron Christian and Roderick Johnson. What are your impressions of them so far, and what's your expectations for them in training camp?
Well, we'll see. We'll just see how everything goes. I'm looking at with all the new guys. Let's see how they handle the whole haul there. But listen, we're glad they're on board. Right.
On the roster itself, Jerick McKinnon, the decision to bring him back. What went behind that to bring him back, even with this crowded backfield?
Yeah, so you can't have enough running backs. I think we know that, and in particular, experienced ones. So we felt like he still had juice left, which is important when you're dealing with veteran players, especially at that position. He's very intelligent. He's great in the pass game part of it, pickups and so on, and he's a good runner. So it's good to get him, and he's a very good leader. He brings that with him too. So it's good to have him back in the mix. I'll be competitive though. I think Brett's done a real nice job. Even mentioned the guys you mentioned, just bringing in competition, and that'll help us down the road become even a better football team.
Andy, Ronald had mentioned that the guys are still going to go down to Texas potentially during the off time. I know they've done a lot of stuff here, but how do you feel that's progressing, just the togetherness of all these new guys coming together as you in camp here and meet for St. Joe's?
Yeah, no, I think I think it's great. They handle it the right way, which is important. They obviously got work done because when they came back, they they were in good shape, and they also had the routes down, which helped. So I think as much time as they can get together, they do, and get ready for camp.
What's the sense right now, Andy, from Patrick's standpoint, and just watching him with the new guys? How might this feel to you watching him versus 2018, obviously as a first-time starter, and obviously 2019 coming back?
Yeah, well, you got to see the progress they made throughout the off-season program, and I liked what I saw. Do we still have room to grow? Absolutely. But further ahead than I had anticipated they would be at this point. I like the guys that we've brought in. They have a feel for space, and I always worry about that just a bit, but they did a nice job with it. This camp is all passing. All right? We don't run the ball. So it gives you a bit of an idea in the pass game what the guys are capable of, and I like that. I just think more reps. We just keep the reps up like we do during camp, and that addition will help us.
Coach, I know we've asked you this before, but just because we won't get you in for 5 weeks, things still progressing well when it comes to your conversations with Orlando and how that's going? Yeah,
so I'm not doing a whole lot of conversing with him, but Brett and his crew are, and so as long as they're talking, these things don't ever happen overnight. That's not how it works. So, but they'll work through it, and I know both sides will handle it the right way, and come to a spot there that's good for both Orlando and the team.
What does Frank Clark miss by not being here? I know he's a veteran, right? But what is he missing by not being here?
Yeah, well, you have a new coach at that spot. So, I mean, if you had to pick one thing out, that would be it. He's a smart guy. He'll catch up on everything. He's normally in pretty good shape physically, so he'll get back into the swing, and he's talked to people up here, so he knows what's going on.
There was a report he was excused.
He was
waiting for the child.
Yeah, part of it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Coach, Trent McDuffie left practice early the other day. Any concerns that he won't be or he will be ready for the start of camp?
Yeah, he'll be ready for camp. Yep. Yeah.
Does the same go for Josh Gordon? We saw him
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, yeah, that one. He came out on the better end of that, so, and that could have been. So
Joshua Williams, no concern long-term there either?
I don't think so. No.
Coach Reid, also,
I think the guys. I think we'll, for the most part, we'll have everybody back without getting into all the injuries. But
With Orlando, how would you just assess the way, obviously, he never played a full season at left tackle. How would you just assess this difference maybe between week 1 and week 17 last year?
yeah, so I thought he got better. Again, he's a young guy, so there's plenty of room to grow, and he's wired the right way to do that. To attack that. And so I know he's been working out and doing the things he needs to do to get himself ready for camp. So, but he's a young guy that is new to the position, is on the rise. I would hope, yeah.
I understand. I don't really want to ask you guys to sort of negotiate against yourselves here, but how key is he to what you guys are able to do?
Yeah, well, we had a good one there before with Fish, and so, we did pretty good with him too. So, but he was a nice addition to the group, yeah.
Coach, it's also a big day for Kansas City sports, for the city in general, learning if they'll have World Cup games here, being obviously part of the whole soccer scene as well. How big of a deal is that, or would it be to have that here in KC?
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I like soccer, believe it or not. I mean, I know I'm not built like a soccer player, but I wasn't built like a quarterback coach either, right? So, but I enjoy the sport. I have a ton of respect for those guys and the amount of work that goes into it. And I know how fond the Hunt family is of soccer and how much it means to them. So, and then the city of Kansas City they love soccer too. So we would definitely have a great turnout there. I know, great support.
With so many new faces in the offense at the skill positions like MBS and Juju, just how would you assess the foundation that you guys were able to build these past few weeks ahead of camp?
Yeah, I really like the way those two worked. They've got a nice connection with Pat up to this point. I'll be curious to see how it gets when when it's live bullets and all that stuff. So we'll see how that rolls, but I wouldn't expect anything much different than what I've been seeing. And the other guys too that have worked in there. McCole has upped his game here and done a nice job, and our young kid Sky, he mixed in there, has been good. So I like the mixture that we've got going.
You guys rotated a lot of cornerbacks this week, and some of that is also because of Rashad and Trent going through little things. But I just wonder, was there anybody in the cornerback group that sort of been a nice surprise, someone that you're sort of eager to see how they look in training camp?
Yeah, I'm kind of collectively, I'm excited to see them. There's so many new faces right there. I'm excited to see them all. They all have a chance. So I think it'll be good competition there. I'm not saying anybody absolutely jumped out or fell apart. So I would just tell you that it's a pretty tight group, and we'll see how it goes when things get going.
Adam?
Andy, you talked about Sky Moore. He was obviously late to the practice just the last week or so. Did you learn anything about him in that short time you had him on the field?
Yeah, you know what I mean. He looks strong. He looks. You see that the way he's built physically, but that transfers. You see those 10 hands that he has. He catches everything, and he's a good route runner. He's a smart kid. Seemed to pick it up well.
Andy, Chris Jones had mentioned yesterday about how that AFC Championship game sticks with him. Do you get that sense from some of the guys that are returning that's gotten a lot more motivated going into this season?
Yeah, I mentioned this to the guys before we left, just that after last season, I'm saying, was that if we all can look in the mirror and be accountable and not point the finger at the other guy, I think that becomes important in that type of situation. And we all could have done better. I know Chris took that to heart, and I think he explained that to you guys on what he said. So, and that's what makes you better. You just grow from that. You take that experience. That's another one for him, even as a veteran player. It's one more thing that he can grow from, and we all should have some of that.
Couple more guys. How much can you learn about Darian Kennard or George Karlaftis when you can't really hit yet, and how much more do you expect to learn once you actually get up to St. Joe?
Yeah, listen, I mean, you can see George's motor. Kennard, you can see his athletic ability, feet. But we're not, we pull off, right, on contact there. So it's, and then there's no run game. Everything's pass. So, but you see that there's talent there. But for the bigs, you got to get in, you got to get the pads on.
Coach, I hate to be the person to ask this again, but this podcast that Tyreek Hill dropped now, I'm assuming you either heard it or they told you some things that were said in there. Just your thoughts about anything that you heard in that podcast?
I love Tyreek. So, I mean, he's a good kid. We think the world of him.